Hello. Hi, I'm Casey Chisholm Miller, and I'm owner and artist of Yaya Made Galveston. And I'm expecting at least one person to show up, so I'm going to wait just a minute. But she's puppy sitting, so she may be late. Okay. I've got today a short hack, and this is a non-sewing thing. And I'm going to wait just a little bit longer. Okay, what is that? That says one. Julie is watching. Hi, Julie. My second audience, because Ruth watched one and I forgot to acknowledge her. So I have Julie watching. Hello, Julie. And I've got a hack for you today, a tip, a shortcut, whatever you want to call them. And this one, you don't have to know how to sew. And it's for you ladies who can never get a pair of pants that the waist fits. The waist is always too big. Us ladies who are pear-shaped run into that more often than other folks do. So I have tried different ways of doing it. I've got a pair of jeans I'm going to show you the hack today. I buy jeans, and if they fit me in the butt, they are too big in the waist because I'm pear-shaped. And so I have tried different remedies. You know, I've gotten on YouTube and Facebook and the sewing sites and everything. And I have tried putting darts in the back. And that does work. But jeans are really, really thick. And so I ran into problems trying to get the dart, through the thickest part. And then I've tried the elastic in the back, where you sew the elastic on the back of the band. And that never worked for me because even if I used a small piece of elastic and stretch, it would stretch out too much. And so I wouldn't get the effect that I was looking for. So I came up with a solution, and it doesn't involve sewing. I do one sewing task at the end of it simply because I sew. And but this is the thing that has worked for me, and it'll work on any pair of pants, slacks, jeans. I've only had one pair of slacks that I couldn't do this on, and that's because there was some special stitching on the back. So if it's got rows and rows of stitching that go all the way through, of course this isn't going to work. And what I do is I take a cord. This is a shoelace. It's very long. It would be like for boots or high tops or, that kind of thing. And I have found the way that I do it and tie it, I run the cord through the waistband. And so I have a corded waistband. And so I try to get a cord that is almost twice my waist size. So this one is just almost twice my waist size. And what I do is I'm going to run the cord on the inside of the waistband. So I take our favorite tool, the one you never want to use, but you're so glad you have it when you need to, that seam ripper. If you don't have a seam ripper, you can use scissors. You just have to be careful and only pierce the underneath side, the inside of the waistband. So here's where this button is. I want to go a little bit on the other side of the button, pretty close, but I don't want to interfere with the button mechanism. So I'm going to take my seam ripper and I'm going to poke the that one layer and then you turn it over because it's shorter on this side, and just increase that hole a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing, whoops, on the other side where the buttonhole is. And at the end of the buttonhole, I don't want to be right next to the buttonhole, but a little bit over, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pierce that and start it, flip it over so the ball is on the bottom, and stick that in the hole and enlarge it. It can go all the way across to the stitching. Okay, can you see that? All right, and then my trusty safety pin. They make other kind of tools that I have, that I use, and they are a little bit faster. But everybody's got a big old safety pin. So we're just going to take that through and run it through the pants. This is probably the most time-consuming part of it, because the jeans are thick and you have to push and pull and all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't take long. So I have been sewing. I have cut out 2 tops for me. I'm sewing for me. And I've been going through patterns. I got a big parcel of patterns that I've been working on so I can put them on my Etsy shop, in my Etsy shop. And it's kind of time consuming because most of the patterns have been used, and so that means they've been cut apart, and I have to go through each and every one of them to make sure all the pieces are there. And then if they're not, then I don't sew them, I keep them. And if they're all there, then I have to write a description and all that and get them in my Etsy shop. Okay, we've made it to the other side. And take that pin off. Okay, we made it. I'm just going to pull it so it's even. And that's it. That's all that you have to do. Now since I sew, and since I don't want to have to do that again, I do take it to my machine, and this is the center, so I don't want to go through that belt loop, but on one side of the belt loop, I will just sew through the waistband, so I sew over that, so it doesn't come out every time I laundry it or whatever. Of course, I do something so it wouldn't come out, but I like it to stay in one place. Then, and I'll show you on what I've got here. Oh, this is a little top I made out of 2 men's shirts. And I remade it today. I didn't like the sleeves I had on it, so I took those off and just made it a sleeveless, just faced it. Okay, I'm going to tuck this in so I won't flash you, because I'm going to show you how this works on the jeans that I have on right now. But let me tuck my shirt in, because I don't want to, because I have to hold my shirt up to show you, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so you're just going to, all right, here it is. This is macrame cord. Okay, I have that. There's my holes that I just showed you that we just did. Okay, I have each end knotted so they won't fray and come all to pieces. And then I knot this one. I'll knot them together. The reason I do that is so I can tie them in a half bow And if I have to go to the bathroom in a hurry, it doesn't get tangled up. So that's why I do that. So here they are tied together. I just take them and pull it tight. Hold these two together. Roll it over my fingers. And put it through the loop. So there you have like a half bow. And then that stuffs into my, and nobody sees it. Nobody's going to see it. Nobody's going to know. Just you. And that's it. That's it. A no sewing hack. And but I would, if you do have access to a sewing machine, I would sew that in the back across the band so you're so it'll stay in one place. And that's all I have for you today, except something I learned. Okay, I'm 73 years old, and I only learned this like maybe 2-3 years ago. Your seam ripper, when you're ripping a seam, I only do it on heavy materials. Let's see if I have something. Because I always end up cutting my fabric. But when you're ripping a seam, here's one. You use the pointy end to get started. But after you get started, you want to put the ball end in the seam and then rip. And that way you don't continue to poke holes in your fabric with the pointy end. Now the pointy end is for picking the individual stitches and for getting started and for starting the hole like that. If you're cutting a buttonhole, let's find a buttonhole. You've just done a buttonhole. It's a big deal. Now my machine has an attachment and it just goes like crazy. It does it all on its own. But to cut that buttonhole, you don't want to cut through the end of the buttonhole. So what you do is you put a pin on each end of the buttonhole at the very end of the stitching, like so. See it? Now, you take the pointy end and you poke it through the fabric and then let it cut until it hits the pin, and that way it doesn't go through the end of your stitching. Hi, Zach. Oh my God, hi, Bobby. I have 3 people watching. Okay, and then you do it on the other end, and that way you don't cut through your stitching, your buttonhole is safe, and you're ready to go. So that's all I have for you today. I would ask that you like my Facebook page, like and share this video, and check out my Etsy shop, which is YaYaMade, all one word, .etsy.com. Thank you very much. See you next week. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.